Good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a good morning. Luna and I had a nice walk through the ball a little bit. I'm going to have coffee here. Hope you have something great to keep your morning in gear, because it looks like it's going to be another beautiful day. Mm. Ah, the big picture. I know you've heard that phrase before. It means different things to different people. Uh, there's a lot of books that are written that kind of say they're giving you the big picture. I like the big picture. The thing I like the most about the big picture is that it gives you typically a good feeling about what can happen once we get going on different things. There's a lot of good thought usually behind the big picture. People have put together ideas and opinions that, you know, once we get this done, once you do the work, you can get this could eventually happen. We could get to here. I've been reading a lot of interesting books about our world, our energy, what we might be like in 50 years, and it's fairly encouraging. Not easy. This is uh this is an interesting time for humanity. We have significant problems in the big picture of our significant problems. We have uh, going through a transition where there won't be as many, uh, I guess, big tails in the video. There won't, we're transitioning to where we got to have a lot of people, older people, and less young people. That's kind of hard because us older folks don't contribute as much as you younger people. I'm still at an age where I can do quite a bit of work, not physical work. I'm a computer programmer and I still produce pretty good software. So I'm still producing pretty well. And I hope to continue doing that for a while longer. I don't know exactly when I'll stop, but you know, it is what it is. Um, I have, so in the big picture of things, I'm kind of an outlier. I'm also right in between. Um, I'm what you call the one of the last of the baby boomers. So my generation was I'm actually officially a boomer. I never feel like a boomer because I do tech. So I feel much more like a millennial. And my wife is right on the edge. She also is a boomer. She's right on the edge. Born 1 year later, she would not have been a boomer. So we have a lot of people that are older. We have the people that are younger. So why is that a problem? Well, I mentioned that. Geez, see? Need another sip of coffee. Work output. On the plus side, don't require much. Don't eat quite as much. Don't need a fancy car. Just need transportation. Have a home, which I know in some countries would be considered an extravagance, but in the U.S., homes are fairly common. Uh, Once I retire, I don't even have to be in a part of the country where uh, housing is constrained. I can move out. I we just plan on moving as well. So in the big picture, the world has that population. That's a fact. That's not going away. That's for sure. The other problem seems to be energy. We have oil, but the oil that was really easy to pull out of the ground and process has gone. There's still a lot of oil left, but the uh, problem is it also produces carbon. So we need to cool the planet off a little bit. So we can either put big umbrellas in outer space and block some of the sun coming in, or we can just figure out how to use something that doesn't pollute as much. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's more like a timing thing. Places like Europe could build nuclear reactors, and there's a lot of uranium. Um, that would be a way to get off of carbon producing stuff. There's there's solar and wind. Solar is a little more problematic for people up north because you got solar is not, they need their energy when it's cold and there's not as much solar. So wind might be a better solution for them. Um, there may be stuff they could do with using water, some of the tidal stuff affected by our moon. You think, Luna? What you think? So, anyways, it's tough, hard, but there are solutions. It's not like it's a no other option kind of scenario. So those are tough things in the big picture. But also in the big picture is a lot of new technologies, a lot of new things that are happening across the world. Our connectedness uh, is allowing for the transportation of ideas and approaches on a monumental scale. I'll I'll give you an example. So Tesla uh, they were making a car, and it was pointed out to them that the back of their car, the trunk area, was a whole bunch of little parts that had to be drilled and spot welded and stuff like that. That's not a big deal. It's a you have mechanical arms do most of the layout and stuff, so they do it pretty precisely. You have them do the spot welding, but it is a bunch of little parts. So they looked at, well, can we make it one part? Well, that initial answer was everybody told them, no, you can't do that. But they said they talked to 5 different places, and 4 of them said no, and 1 of them said maybe. And that maybe one was the one that actually got them a different solution. That different solution was an injection mold of their entire back trunk area, one big piece. So the thing they ran into was they had to have a high compression and they had to have a material that could be pressed into that mold within a few milliseconds. Can't remember the exact number of milliseconds. So they had people with a company called SpaceX, and that company had some advanced metallurgists, metal people with metal technology. Uh, they're smart people about metal. Anyways, they came up with a type of metal that they could compress in there that was still would not uh, would be rigid and wouldn't create any gaps and would flow through the entire uh, form every time and give them exactly what they needed. It made their whole process a little easier because then once they had that form, they kind of attached onto it, which allowed for a lot more stability in production. Why am I geeking out about that? Because that kind of smarts and knowledge is becoming much more prevalent. We're getting to where we can solve so many things. So, big problems, big solutions. There's a lot going on out there. There's a gentleman I follow who's a biologist, and it's amazing some of the stuff that they've done in biology right now. We've had the, sorry, I had to get a little coffee, but we had the, you can program different protein types and have, it's almost like a 3D printer of biology now. I don't have a solid, oh, here you go. We had COVID and we had medicine, vaccines to help with the strains that were going around. We've had other strains since then, and we're still battling it. But when it first came out and they said we're working on something to help, everybody said it'd be like 3 years before we had this, maybe 4, because of all the things that have to occur. And it was amazing. Not only did we have one solution, but we had more than one. We had like 4. Now, there's a lot of people that say different things about it, but the point is, my stuff is the amazing speed at which we're able to tackle problems in our society has really become good. Now, there's a lot of things we still do old school. We have to stop that, and that's hard. Bureaucracy loves old school. I know I've seen too much of it in my life. But the big picture is there are problems, a lot of solutions being worked on, and I hope that you keep that in mind. And in the big picture, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot of stuff, especially if you're an old timer. I'm going to call myself an old timer. Some people would call me, most people would call me an old timer. Some people would say, you're still young. But I've seen a lot of things that everybody thought was a real problem, and we found solutions. Just keep that in mind. There's been a lot of problems, and we've found solutions. And in the big picture, we see the big picture. We know what the issues are. We're going to work to resolve them. May not be perfect, may not be easy, but we're going to work on it. So I have another sip of coffee and I'm heading inside. I got to go to work. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Keep the big picture in mind and keep in mind we get it done. We'll get it done.